In the next topic today, we want to show you the challenges and implementation of ESEF from the issuer side. Fabian and I, together with Marco, we've been working on the ESEF format since almost half a year. And Marco Stefancic is using the software, the ESEF Manager, which I help implement at issuers and service providers. And we want to show you the challenges of implementing the ESEF topic in issuers' houses, also always service providers, but we will keep it focused on the issuer side and using a software in-house and facing challenges of ESEF. As you see, our topic is called "The EU is moving closer together due to the digitalization processes." And this should be the main focus for our topics today. But let's kick it off. Please show the agenda. Okay, so we have 5 points. The 6th point is just the contact data from Fabian and I. We will start with a short introduction of ESEF. So what challenges have we been faced? What challenges have we saw at issuers and service providers? We want to show you an experience report with the specialty on the German issuers. Marco Stefancic then will jump in and show us his side of implementation of ESEF, and then I will jump back into it with pain points, feedback, legal basis, annexes. And of course, obviously, I want to conclude with some positive aspects of ESEF, because there have been a lot of challenges, but I think if the cooperation is at a focus point, we will be able to face these challenges. So let's go ahead. Next topic, next slide. So I'm very sure all the attendants on site and online are very well aware what ESEF means on this day. I will just basically give a short introduction. ESEF stands for European Single Electronic Format, and basically it is the possibility for the EU to have the disclosure management centralized. So we have different markets worldwide. We have the North American markets, we have the Asian markets, and the EU is trying to move closer together from the federal point of view, but also from the how the disclosure management works in the EU, so we can be managed better in the EU as single entities. So go ahead. We have 3 main points for what is ESEF from our point of view, from my point of view specifically. So first of all, ESEF was kicked off in the year of 2020 for the annual reports of 2020. It is in Germany. It's a small specialty in Germany. It's just issuers whose securities are listed on regulated markets in the EU. So as Sabrina Over just told us, in Germany we have about 450 to 500 entities who are obliged to fulfill the ESEF requirements. Across Europe it's about 5,000 to 6,000. It varies from year to year. And our third focus point, what is ESEF and what is it for? It should lead to more accessibility. It should be, it's a way to have better analysis of issuers in Europe, in Germany, like how is the economy doing this year, next year, and for example, the European Central Bank is a major part of these digitalization processes, because the European Central Bank has to decide a lot of things, and it's deciding, as an entity, it's deciding a lot of things regarding how the economic state of the European Union is, and with a digital format like ESEF or the other topics we are talking about today and in the common agenda points, it's all for a better overview, to gain more overview over the economic entities in the European Union. And of course, the last point is the comparability of companies, of different branches, and so on and so forth. We will focus on the issuer perspective today, and first of all, a couple of key notes. ESEF as the issuer, it's the financial statement in XHTML, which is basically just a translation from PDF to XHTML. Of course, there's a lot of work behind it, but basically it's just like a Word to PDF conversion, but now we convert from PDF to XHTML, which is basically just a digital way of disclosing. IFRS consolidated financial statement must be tagged with XBRL tags. This is the reason why the Bundesanzeiger, as a company, as the federal side, but also as a private side where I'm working for, we have a lot of experience with XBRL technologies. We work with XBRL since 2007 in the company. Since 2013, we are really working with XBRL conversions and tags. So we felt obliged to be able to fare with ESEF and help issuers to disclose in ESEF. We have the main focus point from the European side is the ESMA, which is an authority who helps giving issuers in Europe a taxonomy. It's the IFRS 16 taxonomy. In Germany, we also mix it up with IAS 7. And basically, it's just the taxonomy which provides all the possibilities to digitalize. And the inline XBRL, especially in this case, not just XBRL, but inline XBRL, is the way to digitalize from exactly what I said, PDF to XHTML. So next slide, please. We have different requirements from year to year, and it varies and it develops. And this is a very specific point because in Germany we had ESEF from 2020 on, so we are in the second year of disclosing in ESEF. A lot of countries smartly decided to postpone for 1 year. So this is the graph for the German issuers or German Federal Gazette, for example. In the most of the European countries, you can postpone it from 1 year. So we have voluntary tags, we have mandatory tags, and we have different mandatories from year to year. So we started with the basically financial statements. So it's the 5 tables. It's, for example, the balance sheet, the equity. It's basically just the digits in your annual report, which have to be digitalized since 2 years now, as we are in April today, and the disclosing is just happening. We will be obliged as issuers, as service providers, to tag notes. So the notes tagging will start next year with the current year running, and the disclosing then next year in February to April. And you will have to tag your notes as well. So there's a couple of information in your notes which also have to be digitalized, and this will start now. So we are currently in our phase of testing, of preparing the software, and next year you will be obliged to also tag your notes. So what I want to show you and tell you with this graph is not just this graph, it's also we have gained a lot of experience in the not preparation of many issuers. So what I like, it's important for me to say it. It's very important to prepare now for the notes tagging, because everybody has to disclose next year from January to April, and everybody will have questions. And the sooner you are prepared, the better you will fare with disclosure management in the next year. So please, 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 this is really, it's coming from my heart. Please prepare this year, maybe the 3rd or 4th quarter of this year, so you will be able to tag your notes. You know what's going on. You know the taxonomy, because this will be a lot of work. It will take a lot of manpower, a lot of hours of work to tag the notes. But basically, it's not complicated at all. So don't fear it, but please prepare yourself. So let's go to the next slide. We also, as we have a software for service providers, for issuers themselves, specifically the ESEF Manager, we also build a software for auditors. So auditors have to validate their zip packages that's coming from the issuers, and we thought, okay, we are able to provide a solution for issuers. We also want to provide a solution for auditors, and it's what we've done. We've worked closely with the auditors in Germany. We had big cooperations with many auditors. Everybody of y'all knows the Big Four, for example. They were a major part and helped a lot. We had big working groups behind it, and we developed a software for issuers and auditors, so you can validate and you don't have like a media break. Let's go to the next slide. So you see 3 screenshots from our software. The first one is just a simple screen of the workspaces issuers have. So if you as an issuer use the ESEF manager, or if you want to get to know the ESEF manager as an issuer directly, you will have the ability to see these 5 workspaces where we can implement the PDF document and then go through the different stages of workspaces and create your zip package. We also built the software for service providers. So for example, in Germany, we have a big cooperation partner, which is called EQS. I'm pretty sure everybody of you know EQS. They are very well known, and they asked us to build a software for service providers. So they will be able, or they are able, to handle the issuers. The third screenshot shows the solution for auditors. You see different workspaces from first screen to the third screen. And basically, the work in the software for auditors is very short in time. Basically, it's just to check if the validations, the math is correct behind it. I want to give me the second, because we are very proud. Fabian and I are very proud. We are a team of 2. We have specific issuers and users from 6 different countries in the EU. We emerged as the market leader in Germany with the software, which is very cool. Our service providers, especially EQS, but also we have smaller entities who also work as service providers. The ESEF manager handles over 17 countries in the EU, and we have reported over 7,400 ESEF zip packages. Also, market leader in the auditor topic, we have about 75% of auditing companies. We have around 38 to 43 auditors who are obliged and able to audit issuers, regulated issuers in Germany, and we are working with almost 30 around, and also gained a market leader in Germany, so became, So, second topic, experience report and use cases of German issuers. We serviced over 50 entities directly. It's about 60 entities directly this year, and we've gained a lot of experiences. So I will also give a conclusion at the end. You see the key learnings, and this is like the major part. This is the most important part. Our experiences of 2 years of ESEF. As I said in the start, there was a great ignorance of ESEF. Nobody wanted to do it. Nobody knew, like in a company itself, which department has to provide the ESEF package. Is it the accounting? Is it the investor relations department? Who is it? And so everybody put it from table to table, and nobody wanted to do it. So there was a really big ignorance in the first year. I greatly remember it. Today, as we have fared with 2 years of ESEF, there's less uncertainty. There's still some because of the notes tagging, which will come next year. And as I said in the beginning, the postponement in 24 EU countries of the obligation has helped. Why has it helped? Because we in Germany then had the possibility to find our own way. Also Austria, as another German-speaking country, we had the possibility to gain some knowledge, make mistakes. Everybody could look at us, and everybody did look at how German fared with ESEF from the federal side. So the other OEMs in the various countries watched closely how we did it on the federal side, but also watched closely how we did it on the issuer side. First year was about implementation. Then different requirements came up. The auditors gained more and more traction of ESEF and how to audit it, and we have very, very specific requirements from the auditors, from the like the EU, from the European Union, who obliged us with ESEF, and also from the issuer side. But now, after 2 years, it smoothens out. So we are pretty sure that ESEF will not be a problem anymore. There is a small challenge, which is the notes tagging. But I'm pretty sure we will handle it. So, a lot of words. Nothing was really important, because the most important things is the key learnings we gained as a service provider, as a software provider. It's the communication. So first of all, auditors, issuers, consultants who help issuers or service providers who help in how to do ESEF, you need to communicate often and early. So make big mail chains, talk about deadlines, change deadlines, clarify who's responsible for what in the process of ESEF. The second point is a point, I'm smiling because not too many people read what they had to read. Literature, it's like the most important stuff. You have to know your stuff in the topic of ESEF. You really have to. The literature is not fine. You don't take it to bed. You don't want to read it at night, but you have to read it. You have to know what you're talking about, because some auditors have requirements which are not required. Some issuers want to have had challenges they were not required to have. So it's really important to read the literature, to have the ESMA guide, to have your specific audit guide, and to have your, like the national guide for ESEF, because every country has different variations on how to fare with ESEF. And especially, and that's like always in life, prepare. Be prepared, know what's coming. We will talk about ESEF now. We will talk about ESG, sustainability reporting, in a couple of minutes. And sustainability reporting is far away. It's like 2 years, for example. But the time is now to prepare, and the time for ESEF and block tagging is now to prepare. Ask your service provider, whoever you are working with. There are a lot of service providers, especially in Poland, for example. There are a lot of very smart service providers and software providers. Talk to them now. If you are an issuer, talk to them now, talk to them today, and prepare for either the notes tagging or different variations of ESEF and challenges you still have. Now Marco Stefancic will jump in. No, we have recommendations for ESEF obliged parties, yeah. Just what I said. Inform early, onboard experts, take a consultant, call your software provider, take advantage of webinar, workshops. We offer a lot of workshops, but also I know different European entities offer a lot of workshops, so use them, take your time. It's important. You have to gain the knowledge. If you don't gain the knowledge, you won't be able to face the challenges correctly. Also, recommendations for auditors. Know the standards. We have different specifics regarding like label tagging. I'm pretty sure everybody of you heard about extension building. What is an extension? When do I have to build an extension? Talk about it as early as possible, and obviously it's a software. No matter if it's the ESEF manager or some software, some other software, you have to learn basic IT skills. So you can't get around it. Okay, next slide, please. So. We are very honored. Like almost 6 months ago, Marco Stefancic sent me a mail. I don't know if he sent it to Fabian or me, and asked for our solution. He wanted to get to know the ESEF manager. He heard about it through different marketing strategies we've done, and he asked us to present him the ESEF manager. He was very quick to learn. Very good learner, Marco. I'm very, very proud as we have you here from Ericsson, Nikola Tesla. Marco will provide you the point of view, not from my point of view as a service and software provider or a consultant. He will tell you and talk about the challenges he faced as an issuer and being lonely responsible to handle all the ESEF requirements. Marco, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me clear?
Hello.
Yeah.
Marco, yeah, first let me put your slides on the screen again.
Okay. So, hi, I'm Marko Stefancic from Ericsson Nikola Tesla Group. And I can hear echo. No, now it's good. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me start with just few informations about the company where I come from, so it will be more clear to you when I will talk about the process I will discuss later on. So, Ericsson Nikola Tesla and our group of companies, we are a provider of communication products, solutions, and services in the operator segment, as well as provider of ICT solutions for national and public safety and healthcare. For example, we produced e-health system in 3 different countries, and we're working on some other industry segments. So we are closely related to Ericsson, and we are an associate member of Ericsson Corporation. And what we always like to share is that we are the largest creation exporter of knowledge, since our people, like developers and solution architects, work on many projects around Europe and the whole world. So we can go on to the next slide. So I won't talk much about the history, but just wanted to mention that we are founded in 1949, and just a few years later, we started the cooperation with Ericsson with production of telephone systems, and we have a long history of our own R&D center from 1962, and we have really evolved from production company to full solution provider, while implementing 3G, 4G, and 5G, and different these e-health system, land registry information system, and similar solutions. So you can move to the next slide. I don't want to talk much about history, but this current situation. So we have 4 business segments. The first one is telco segment and managed services, where we are trusted advisor to our telco customers and market leader on our customers. Then there is industry and society, where we help and lead the digital transformation for many public services like e-health and land registry, as I already mentioned. The third one is our R&D center, which was founded in 1962, and we are positioned as one of the best R&D centers within the global organizations, and that leads to the fact that we are one of the largest exporter of knowledge in Croatia. Our engineers work in projects really in the whole world, Indonesia, Mexico, you name it. I think we've been there. Okay, and the fourth one is services, where we are highly competent and competitive service hub, providing the technical, consultative, and innovation capabilities. Okay, now something about the numbers. You can move to the next slide. Just to get to know my company. So we have about 3,500 people on 3 different sites in Croatia, and from which more than 90% are highly educated, and we are quite young, I would say. More than 30% of our employees are younger than 32. And you can see also this gender ratio, and which I think is quite good based on the fact that we are in the IT industry, and in most times the men are always there. So we can move to the next slide. I just wanted to go quickly through these few slides and move to the main topics. So we are here to build sustainable and connected world by driving these positive changes and creating new value for people, business, and the environment. And in our business, we always use practices above the prescribed ones towards all stakeholders. And we use high ethical standards in all our activities. And regarding the sustainability, that will be the topic of the next slot after this slot. We are using this technology for the sustainable future, and we are leading the transformation of many industries with our ICT solutions. And our goal is to reduce carbon footprint by 50% until 2030. This is our own goal for the company and for the group. And we want to help to achieve UN Sustainable Development Goals. And regarding the connection with our shareholders, we have integrated reporting since 1999, and that means financial and non-financial reporting in our annual report for more than 20 years. So I would say we have quite extensive experience in this area. And this year was quite challenging as we needed to implement ESEF reporting, which brings us to the main topic of this presentation. Although in Germany it's the second year, and I think you probably have a lot more experience than me, but I wanted to share this implementation process in our company. So the first step for us was the decision between in-house solution versus the full service provider solution. And since this is the first year of implementation, we did not want to buy a model where the service provider takes everything for us in the first year, since then we wouldn't have any experience and it will only get worse, not worse, but more complicated, I would say, as you already told. So it will get more complicated in upcoming years when we'll have to take the notes. So we decided that we will buy software and do the most of the tagging alone, and then ask for help, opinion of auditors and software providers. And we thought, okay, this will be the best solution. And in my opinion, this is very important knowledge that we gained this year in our company, which will be a good basis for the upcoming period. And also regarding auditors and regulator, despite the standards are all the same for all countries, there will be always slightly different interpretations in every country. So maybe your service provider, if he does all the job by himself, won't know these details. And also, service providers have intense period with many clients at the same time in the beginning of the year. So we wanted to be realistic and know that they won't have all the time of the world for us. So we did not want to be so much dependent on them. And also, you have to consider in these days, COVID, although I don't know how is it in other countries, the measures are not so strict. They eased it a few days ago, I think from the last weekend in Croatia, but you have to consider COVID and that the service provider might have problems with people.
Marco, let me jump in a second, please. Because
okay.
You said, as you have experience of 1 year, and we see the slide, I want to stay there a second. Because if I would give the same feedback as you did with this slide, it's basically exactly the same. It's exactly the same. It's the pros and the cons for in-house and service providers. Fabian and I would do the same graph, would have the same slide. So basically, you are pretty on point with our experience and the pros and cons of, because we work as a service provider, but also we, in your case, have direct implementation in-house, and it's basically 100% the same. It's congruent with what we think.
Yeah, sure. Well, this in-house solution, since we are a big company, that is why I wanted to show you and tell you something about the company. So we're a big company and we have resources in-house, so we can use this option. Maybe for others to be more sure that they will do everything in line with all the regulations, maybe the full service provider solution is the better solution for them. So we found, let's say, the middle way, where we have software provider provided by third party, by Bundesanzeiger Verlag, and then we did the tagging by ourselves. So we can move to the next slide. Based on our procurement policy, we had to ask for at least 2 offers, but in the end we have 6 or 7 possible suppliers, including all Big 4 companies. And the guys can tell you our procurement process is quite complex. And besides strategic sourcing, which is our procurement department, and company control, where I come from, we are the end users. We had colleagues from IT security, legal department, and security management department in the team. And they all had some topics to cover and tell us, okay, you have to worry about this, about this, about this. So security and IT colleagues were concerned about which ISO certification do you have? Do you have 27001, 27017, 27018, which all relate to information security? And also, what was important to them is which certificate company issued it, because it's not all the same if any company issued it. And they were concerned about the cybersecurity. Where are the cloud servers located? Are data stored in cloud encrypted? What kind of firewall do you have? Do you have antiviruses? How often do you make patches? And so on and so on. And as I understood my IT colleague, EU and USA requirements are a bit more strict than Asia-Africa requirements, even though that does not mean that the suppliers from Asia and Africa are not voluntarily in line with EU rules. Also, legal department solved the questions who is responsible for potential leakage of information, since this is a very sensitive area, you know, and who has the access to data, which law is to be applied if any disputes occur. And they made a privacy impact assessment, which are controls regarding personal data. Our strategic sourcing department also made some sanction list check, blacklist, watch list checks, a politically exposed person check, signing of non-disclosure agreement, and they oversee the whole process. And last but not least, the company control. We are the end users of the solution. We are interested in which features does software have, and it was important for us that the education is also included in price. And we did not want high subsequent support price, since probably we will have more questions in upcoming year. So this is the first year, and next year we will have these notes and I assume many difficulties. So there were different options on the market with variety of support prices. Some of them had discounts for, let's say, 20 hours or 8 hours. And I think the solution with Bundesanzeiger Verlag was great support to offer. You're always quickly available to us, and that was very important in the whole process. Also,
thanks for the flowers,
we
Marco.
wanted to have solution with standard team. It's great that there's 2 of you. Okay, you have some few colleagues, but we did not want many resources involved from the supplier side, since we're on the stock market and we have to minimize the risk of leakage of any information. You wanted to say something, I assume?
No, I was saying thank you for the flowers, Marco, regarding the availability.
No, really. It was very good to work with you. So we aligned all these points from all the departments, and we tried to make the best possible decision. We can now move to the next slide. So these are the key facts used for the decision. Of course, one of them is price. Regarding the price, even the main question for us was, is the price same even that we have 4 different reports? Because we have to file it in 2 different languages, and we have to file standalone and group consolidated report. This is the case in Croatia. I know the case in Germany is not the same. I'm not sure in other countries what is the case. So in Croatia, there are more strict rules, and we have to file a report in English, in Croatian, and we have to do it for consolidated and standalone reports. Also, we have some functionalities of the software that were important for our decision. This is the possibility to use the tool by more than one user. Since in my department, there are few of us that we were all involved together in this tagging. Also, the second thing is to have validation checks, so we can check it before sending to auditor. As Sabrina told, they had to make these validations available for the issuers, and we wanted this to be implemented also in the software. Also, auto tagging option was quite good for us also, because we want to make as little job as we have to. I mean, in the first year it won't be a problem, but next year when we will have to tag the notes, auto tagging option I think will be great. And also roll forward function was important for us, so we have to make this just one time, and then we will rolling it in the upcoming years. Also, the block tagging was important for us because at the first we had an idea that we will do all the tagging all together in the first year, but in the end we tagged only mandatory things this year, and we will leave the rest for the next year, for the long warm summer to do it these days. And the format of reports that can be imported, that was also important for us, since we are working in Word until the report is really in high stage of preparation. And the third important thing was response time. And to be sincere, we decided to drop out the software providers that were not good in timely communication, as this may indicate also problems with future timely support. And this was actual advantage of yours, and your support really made it worth every penny. And in the end, this great communication saved time, and time is money, I always say. And I really like this to work with your team, with you as a team, because if someone was on the vacation, the other guys would jump in and help you with my questions, which they can answer, and in most cases that would happen in an hour or two. And for the questions they couldn't tell me the solution, they told me when someone will be back from the vacation, and we solved it all in no time. And so after this decision, we sent the proposal to appropriate approvers, and that's it. We can move to the next slide. So this final slide is about this operative tagging of the annual report. So we made tagging on the statements for 2020 as a preparation for 2021, and send them to auditors to check it. And we are glad we have a good relationship with our auditors. And once we take the report, we think with them regarding annual reports, including Asef, and they helped us to solve our doubts because we made different approaches. For example, should we make our company-specific tag and anchor it to the Asef tag, or should we take the number to the most close Asef tag that already exists? And in most cases, we use the existing tags from the Asef. And also, we removed some of our subtotals in the report. For example, in statement of cash flows, in cash flow from operating activities, we had one subtotal for adjustments to profit before changes in working capital, and we removed it since Asef taxonomy only has a tag that relates to adjustments to profit or loss with changes in working capital included. So I think really good thing and the best solution is to use illustrative reports that Big Four companies auditors have, since they show, let's say, the perfect report, which is in line with IFRS, and then, of course, with Asef. And so after that, the auditors confirmed the tax, and we will make roll forward to this year's statements. To be specific, I'm doing it today, so I'll excuse myself after my slot and go and make this roll forward. And of course, during this whole process, we had support from your side, which helped us solve our doubts and in the end make this whole Asef reporting in time and in line with auditors and the recipients and all stakeholders' requirements. So that's it. It's great that you have 2 years of experience. That really helped us a lot.
Yeah.
And that would be it from me. For now, we can discuss some other things, and if anybody has any questions, they can ask some.
Yes, Marco, thanks a lot. And the specifics you talked about with conversations with your auditor, I'll remember it as if it was yesterday. So, yes, but thanks again, Marco, for the flowers, really. That's very kind of you, but also this is likewise. So every user of the ESEF manager, either being it a issuer like you yourself, a software provider, service provider like EQS, or auditors we are working with. Actually, the knowledge we have today, the experience we have today is all from you, from our customers, from our users. As I am the main guy with implementation, the main cooperation partner, Fabian is always behind me and always is working on the software, always is preparing for the next steps of what has the software to be able to do in the next years. Example given, the block tagging, for example, we are well prepared today already, and yeah, it's very important for us. Either it be in ESEF, either it be in ESG or sustainability reporting or CSRD or what kind of acronym will prevail. And obviously also SRD II, we are always very, very focused on using the knowledge of our clients, the knowledge of our cooperation partners to get better and to gain this knowledge and help disclose up to 7,400 zip packages across the European countries. And yeah, Marco, thanks a lot. Thanks for the kind words. Thanks for the presentation. I think it's very important for all the issuers in attendance today to see your point of view, because actually this is the most important point of view, because you are the one who is obliged. Like, you have to do it, and yeah, thanks for the kind words.
Also, thank you from my side, Marco. Before we move on with the slides, I have a few questions, probably to both of you, as we have some time left. So we have seen on the previous presentation that there were issues that were, let's say, in a rush, just before the deadline of the disclosure. Basically, they were in a rush and they had problems sometimes, or there were some new requirements from the auditors we just learned. Tobias, maybe you were the first person in contact, basically. You were like the help for everyone. How did you solve these situations when issues came to you and actually called you late night, for example, and saying, hey, we have to disclose tomorrow, anything? What did you do in these situations? And maybe before you answer, Marco, same question to you. When or did you come to the situation when you were in a rush, and what did you do, and what can you basically tell our audience to do then?
Marco, do you want me to start? Yeah, okay. Often I cried at night because often I had not have the answer. We have a great support team. Our software provider, which is FWSB, a German software company, development company, they were major, the biggest help. Our next speaker, Mr. Christoph Kocher, who will talk about ESG, also is an ESEF and IFRS consultant and specialist. Also helped me a lot. I always call you my uncle of ESEF. So the main thing and the problem solver all the time was communication. Like talk to like Marco, we had often we discussed and we had you had some questions I couldn't answer, and the most important thing is to then be honest with each other. Like if you know something, then make a sentence with an exclamation point, but if you don't know the answer, don't try to answer a question you don't know. You talked about the taxonomy and extension requirements, Marco, in one of your slides. There are no full answers sometimes. The auditor wants this, ESMA says this, you as an issuer want another thing. There is no clear answer sometimes, and the most important thing for me was always being honest with myself and giving answers where I could, and saying no, I can't give the answer when I couldn't. And then I had obviously a very, very good support team, and also you, Fabian, but also our FWSB cooperation partner, Christoph Kocher, was always available for me if I had questions. We've gained a lot of cooperation partners on the auditor side who became close cooperation partners. They also could provide a lot of knowledge. And as I had my three major points of like conclusion, the most important thing is communication. Be honest with each other, communicate problems in advance, prepare yourself. This was how I handled it, and how I will keep handling it in the future. So, Marco, please give us your point of view.
Well, I'm sure the regulator takes the main vote here, and I think they will in the end tell us, okay, this is the thing you should do. But it's the first year for all of us, for the regulators and for the issuers and for the auditors in Croatia. We are trying to make the best possible solutions we have. And yes, every country is specific. So as I already told, we have to do these reports for standalone and consolidated reports. So it's different in every country. Every auditor, probably the auditors in the same audit company will have different opinions, because it's always the same with some standards and interpretations that can be different.
All right, thank you.
We will learn from the first year, and hopefully we will learn from Germany and the countries that already implemented this a few years ago. So,
okay, thank you, Marco. I have another question to you, Tobias. You said the ESEF Manager is the market-leading software or solution for ESEF, for the issuers and for the auditors, but you are just one person and a lot of issuers. So I know you had, I don't know, like 30 webinars and workshops. We had workshops together with Mr. Kocher and others. What were the biggest challenges here for you in teaching these things, and what were the best benefits of the workshops from your perspective?
The major challenges was not being able to have answers. There are different agendas behind everything in life, and also an implementation of a regulatory of like ESEF or also SRD II. We will talk about SRD II later. There's always the federal side, there are different software providers, there's competition in the market, there are auditing companies, like we are all aware of the big four. And as you said, Marco, sometimes they didn't agree in-house, and then they didn't agree between each other and set standards who were not used as a standard. Everybody had their own agenda. To go to the next point of your questions, actually these workshops and different perspectives from a IFRS specialist, from software providers, from different auditors who then discussed, and I was the one who listened and learned from what they had to say, what their point of view. So actually, I think these workshops were the most helpful for me, myself, in learning and then being able to teach, because I think the most problematic challenge during the last 2 years was people who didn't know the answer but tried to give answers. I think this is really the major problem, especially on the auditor side. I have to say it, I don't want to confront anybody, but many auditors said sentences with exclamation points that weren't actually true and not real, and or not in the reality of what the ESMA wanted, for example. And so being honest with each other, helping each other, seeing different perspectives, learning from each other through our circle. We had the luck of being able to work with you, for example, Marco. You come from an auditing company, you have a lot of knowledge about IFRS and taxonomies, and you are also very well known with IT stuff, as your company is very digitalized also. So these are the most important things, communicating with each other.
Thank you, Tobias. So we can move on with the slides, if we can get them back on the screen, please. This takes a second. Doesn't matter. Here we go. All right. So, Tobias, please continue.
I will conclude the ESEF topic with some feedback. Proposed solution, our proposed solution as a software provider. So we have different work groups. We have an iXBRL working group in Germany. We have one in Europe. We have a ESMA working group in Germany. We have one for Europe, and I'm pretty sure every different entity, every different country has their own working groups. It's the communication between those different entities, between those different agendas sometimes behind it. And what we did, we were asked by Gilles Maguet from iXBRL Europe often to give feedback, because he knows that we gained a lot of experience and knowledge, and what he asks for, like he's constantly asking us, like almost every month, of what kind of feedback we have, has anything changed? Giving feedback back to the EU level to then being able to implement the regulations in different countries who then postponed it, for example, was, I think, a major point and something we are very proud of. I'm pretty sure you as well. We collected a lot of feedback. You especially asked all of our customers to give feedback on how they regarded and took ESEF. And we passed it on to Gilles, to iXBRL, to the ESMA, to Anna Scortino when she was in her position. She now changed, but we gave a lot of feedback, and I think this is very important, because actually, like the regulatory, the theory behind ESEF, yeah, it might be smart, it might be the right thing, but actually it's always just a theory until it gets real. And during the practice, and the praxis comes then the reality and the feedback, and yeah, we forward a lot to the ESMA, actually. Yeah. we talk about challenges, we talk about implementation of a different regulatory, of things coming from the European Union to then be taken to the national law. And yeah, the word challenges kept coming up very often, but there's also some positive aspects. Especially for us with the ESEF manager, so this is our feedback and positive aspects from the point of view of the software of the ESEF manager. Every customer from day one had their ESEF file submitted in time with the taxonomy validated correctly, no mistakes were disclosed, no customer left us. That's a very, very important point for us too. We're very proud on that, like Marco said, I think availability is major, is a key part of what we've been able to be as a service provider, and I think our customers, our clients are very looking at this point very closely. So we're very proud that nobody has left us from over 7,400 customers or ESEF packages we created. The software is extremely reliable. Fabian is working constantly to keep the software viable and reliable. We had no errors, actually, no critical errors. We are always working with the ESMA regulatory on the first stage. So we also always try to look at what wants the ESMA, and then on the second step, we take it into national law and specifics. As Marco mentioned, the roll forward functionality is something that will take, you can, like, it saves time. We made some Umfragen, questionnaires. We made some questionnaires between our customers, and they said it's about 70% of time saving from first year to second year using our roll forward functionality. Basically, it takes a day in the second year, and it will take half a day in the third year, disregarding the notes tagging, because we don't know yet. But yeah, the roll forward functionality is also something a lot of customers pretty sure are very thankful for. Yeah. So our contact details, Fabian and I. Yeah, please feel free to contact us, get back to us with feedback, with questions. We're very glad if you give us feedback, because, as I said, we learn from what you think, what you experience. So, yeah.
All right, thank you, Tobias.